From Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back to back bombs. From Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A-Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. My, oh my, it's another sports podcast. And my, oh my, what an epic comeback Monday night, May 20th. This has got to be the best win of the year for the Seattle Mariners. You know what we do around here. We rep the Mariners from Nashville to Albuquerque to Lake Stevens and everywhere in between. I want to give a huge shout out to super producer, the man behind Vaden Podcast Services, Indy. What's up, bro?
Man, not much. That game couldn't have been a better cap to the night.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Just thrilling, the range of emotions. I want to give another huge shout out to our co-host, our RG, who is not with us tonight. Can't wait to get him back in the batter's box. He makes this show exponentially better. But like they say on Broadway, since we are in New York right now, the show must go on, bro, and that's what we're going to do. And usually we just go into the weekend review, but this was just such an epic game, Indy, from so many different directions. Let's just start right now with Clay Holmes, the elite dominant reliever for the New York Yankees, who had not surrendered an earned run all season and gave up 4 to the Mariners in the 9th inning. I know I'm not the only Mariners fan who were going into the 9th inning. We're down 4-1. I'm like, this shit's over. But I'm going to keep listening. I still got a bunch of deliveries to do. And y'all know how I love the melodic tones of Rick Riz. So, Indy, what's one thing we always say? You can't give extra outs. So there's a throwing error by the Yankees. There's an infield hit by Julio. There's a deep sac fly by Canzone. There's a nice little single from Mitch Haniger and another opposite field single for Ty France. Before we dive deeper into this game, bro, there is so much said right now about ultimate outcome baseball. You and me talk about off the air that when we all were growing up, striking out was embarrassing. You were going to be shunned. We were going to throw stones at you for striking out. Now no one gives a shit. But look at what the Mariners did in a quote home run happy ballpark. They strung a bunch of hits, some sacrifices, and they were able to string it together and get the job done. What do you got to say about everybody contributing, putting the ball in play versus ultimate outcome, and putting the ball in play won the game tonight?
Oh, it absolutely did. This game was a rough one. I mean, honestly, until the 8th inning, when that little bit of hope started to show. But I mean, I'm pretty sure until the 8th inning, Raley was the only guy on our team that had a hit. Like, it's insane. It's insane, man. It was like to go from no production the entire game to just an 8th inning homer and then the 9th inning methodical, just hit after hit, stab after stab, just bleeding them dry and just getting as many runs as we can out of whatever production we could get with our bats. And it was honestly, it was super positive to see. And I hope we see more innings where guys are swinging to get on base and not swinging to put that thing in another universe. Yeah, like you said, it used to be embarrassing to strike out. It used to be embarrassing to be batting under 230, 240. Like That used to be bad. Now we're looking at our lineup and we're like, hey, at least we have this many people batting over 220. Like we see that as a positive, which is like it's weird how it works like that over time. It just changed slowly but surely, and this is where we're at. We're at the point of baseball where everybody just swings for the fences.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then to top it off, we're playing the Bronx Bombers for Pete's sakes. So it's kind of funny how that all worked out. Just this is why baseball is such a beautiful sport, though. Just the range of emotions, and you're never out of it if you stay in the ball game. This is why it's so important for teams to tack on, and I like to just say bury your opponent, because if you let a team hang around, the confidence is still there that we can come back. I just want to go all the way back to the first inning. And on this show, we normally don't necessarily dive into an individual game so much, but this was such an epic come from behind win. The grit and determination, the grind of this team, the grind and the grit is what really got it done. But Logan Gilbert, 2 runs first inning. I'm thinking to myself, shit, it's going to be one of those days for him. But guess what? There's a reason on my, oh my, it's another sports podcast. We call this dude LG the OG because that's what he is. And Indy, he has a mental toughness and he pitches angry. He put those 2 runs behind him. It's really, really, really easy to let shit get completely out of control at Yankee Stadium. This lineup is absolutely devastating. And for him to bounce back and really grind out those 6 innings for yet another quality start. Unbelievable. The Mariners are leading the league right now on quality starts. Say what you want about our starting pitching, but the point is to keep your team in the ball game. That's what they did. And I'm going to play a little number game here, because what it came down to is you got to hang around at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. We had 3 inning ending double plays. We had 2 runners caught stealing by Cal, and that helped lead to one enormous come from behind win. I know they call you Indy because you got some wheels out there. You just showed me your first catch from center field ever. I just want you to speak on the hidden importance of defense in baseball, because it was a critical component to the Mariners hanging around and not getting blown out in this one.
Well, if you think back a few days ago in Baltimore, our poor defense led to multiple Orioles runs, so like that's why some people are just DHs, because there is an importance to the glove. Like if your glove, if you can't play defense at a high level, you're not going to be on the field. So if you want to play the game at a high level, you have to produce with your bat at a high level. Our DHs suck. Bats are something we need. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. But defense is as just consider if people will say that the starting pitching staff, the rotation is an offensive line, then the defense are the playmakers around him, around that offensive line, like the wide receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks, the tight ends. And, in football, the ball doesn't move it down the field without people carrying the ball. It's not just the offensive line out there, and to play defense in such a, such a spotlight of an environment, like people don't realize like how small baseball really is when it's up in the air, when these guys are launching that thing at 110 miles per hour Sometimes almost straight up for a straight up pop fly, and these guys have to track it, and you see them like multiple people calling the for ball, and then it changes as the ball comes down. Like it's not people are when they see somebody mess up in the field, they think, oh, that guy should have had it. That was easy. I could have caught that. But like, really? Do you know what it takes to play outfield in Major League Baseball? Do you know what it takes to play outfield in high school baseball? Like, it takes some wheels. It takes the ability to belly flop straight up on the ground and hop up and make a throw immediately without thinking about it, without catching your breath. Like there's a lot of physical aspect to it, but there's just as much of a mental aspect to it as well. You have to be able to make mistakes and get the fuck back up and go forward like it never happened. Like you said, Logan, he ate those runs and he kept going and grinded out 6 innings, and to me, everybody gets lit up every now and then. Every pitcher gives up hits. How much can you mitigate those hits? How much can you keep those hits, those runners from getting around the bases? That is where a pitcher needs to feel confident in his defense. That right there unlocks a whole nother level of dog in that guy on the mound. And I think I had a very long-winded way of saying it, but I think that's the most important thing that the defense provides to a team, to me, is that extra level of comfort and confidence into that guy on the mound, because the more confident they are, the more they deal. And we got some motherfucking guys up there that throw that baseball, dude.
Oh God, yeah. The pitching staff is quite unbelievable. We know I'll go into it every week, and let's just do it right now. I was kind of shocked, Indy, that the team is actually only 10th in ERA right now, but they're first in WHIP, third in Ks per nine. They're walking the fewest amount of hitters per game, and they have the second best strikeout to walk ratio. uh, Probably the biggest reason they're 10th in ERA right now is we're 14th in home runs allowed per game. So that can make a pretty dramatic spike quickly. But like I said, coming into Monday's game, the Mariners were tied for first with the Philadelphia Phillies for most quality starts. Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo. I will change that now. Gilbert would be up to 8 quality starts, which would tie him for the most in baseball. Castillo's at 7, and that's second most in baseball. So that's the consistency we need. I love what you just said there too about your fielders giving your pitchers more confidence. If your pitchers feel that you are going to back them up, they will be more aggressive. They won't nibble as much. And then just from my second baseman's lens I view baseball from the most is if you have a first baseman who can make great digs and stretches, he allows your infielders to play vastly more aggressive. You can try to make more spectacular plays if you have a first baseman you are extremely confident in. If it's a guy that you're not sure about, you probably need to eat it and just let the runner go safe with no throw. But you get a first baseman who you're supremely confident in, you can try to make some spectacular outs. So just fun things to think about in baseball. And Indy, we knew coming into this road trip it was going to be maybe the toughest 10 game stretch of the season. We fly all the way across the country, 3 at Baltimore, 4 in the Bronx, and 3 at the Washington, D.C. Nationals to finish up the road trip. It stunk. We only went 1-2 at Baltimore, and they kind of beat us up pretty good there. Baltimore doubled us up in the series in the aggregate, 18-9 in the run differential, adding up the aggregate. But really nice bounce back win to open the series against the New York Yankees. So that puts us at 2-2 on the road trip right now. My whole thing was on this 10-game swing, of which are against the two best teams in the American League right now. 70% of this road trip against the two best teams in the AL. Just come out of it 5-5. And I know people don't always want to hear that, but in a 162 game season, it's critical to just kind of manage your tough streaks and then really capitalize when you're at home against the bottom dwellers. And I'm pumped because now that we're back to 2-2 on the road trip, we can really think about maybe trying to get out 6-4. You know my stance too in the standings overall. The first 50 games, you have to get to 25-25. Not sexy. I would prefer to go 30-20 in those first 50, but if you just get to 25-25, you give yourself a great chance for the rest of the season. As we stand, the Mariners are 26-22, and that's a 54% win percentage. I'm never gonna let this one go, whether it's an angry one or just chilling like this right now. But I want to ask you about George Kirby, though. I know his fastball command wasn't necessarily there, but he got roughed up at Baltimore for 5 earned runs over 6 innings pitched. And we talked about this with our friend Eric Neal. But do you think it's about time that Kirby starts getting a little intentionally wild, as I would call it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by intentionally wild, but I'm pretty sure I know. And yeah, I'm 100% in agreement. Like, we need him to make batters fear stepping into that box. We need him to throw a few across dude's chest, just brushing them, stepping them back a little bit, getting them moving, getting them thinking. Because right now, batters are going into at bats against Kirby, knowing that he has the most control in the MLB, that he's a harder throwing Greg Maddux at this point, essentially. They're not afraid that he's going to potentially hit them, or we need him to light that fire, get angry, show that anger that Gilbert has up there. If he can tap into some of that anger, man, it's going to unlock a whole new beast in George Kirby. Let's get him there. I had a coach growing up, probably the best coach I ever had, and he used to tell our pitchers, like, get angry at the ground, get angry at the ball, stomp that dirt. He was like, stomp that dirt. When you release that ball, swing that arm around or that leg around and stomp that dirt. Show the batters who owns this land. Show the batter who owns that box. Like, that's the stuff he would say. And man, it worked. We won a lot, man. We won a lot.
Well, you know who stomps that dirt harder than anybody right now? Andre frickin' Munoz. You want to talk about, dude? He's stepping into that dirt and putting his foot all the way to the Earth's core right now, bro. My guy is coming out breathing fire like a dragon, like I know Andres can. This guy has 3 holds on the season, 9 saves. He's got 12.4 strikeouts per 9 innings with a 1.77 ERA. You referenced it earlier. I can't even remember if it was on air or off. What is it, 3 or 4 straight sliders to Judge, then 100 right on the edge. Even the best power hitter in baseball can't do a damn with that thing. And then one more tidbit before I toss it back to you, bro. Munoz already has a .7 WAR, which if you follow WAR at all, relievers usually don't stack up very big in that stat. So for Munoz to be at a .7 WAR already is unfreaking believable. This guy is coming and breathing fire, and I
Yes, sir.
freaking love it.
Dude, you are not alone. Me and you both. That 101 mile per hour fastball, man. Whoo! Against the best, maybe the best, one of the best hitters in all of baseball, Aaron Judge. man, to close the door on that lineup, that specific part of the lineup, unbelievable, unbelievable, man. Just to watch Munoz's progression from a few years ago till now, it's insane. He is a dog, man. He is a dog, and I can't get enough of him. I can't get enough of him. He's a top 5 reliever to me. I don't know about y'all, but he's a top 5 reliever to me.
Well, that's the thing that makes it so impressive to me is because I have extreme confidence in Munoz, but is there a scarier ninth inning to face than the top of that Yankees lineup right now? I mean, even with Munoz, I'm like, oh God. And you only have one run to keep it, that little bandbox of a ballpark. So absolute kudos to Munoz. And speaking of guys on fire, bro, in the last 7 games, Luke Raley is hitting 500 with 2 home runs, 5 RBI, and 6 runs scored. He has upped his WAR all the way up to .8 in the blink of an eye with the 311 batting average and a 799 OPS. We were talking about him off air. He has been a crucial player. I love that he's got a power speed combo. He had 19 bombs and like 15 stolen bases last season. And it's funny when we were talking about the offseason acquisitions, I was stoked that we got Raley because I love his skill set. But I was also nervous though because he's really only had one good year in Major League Baseball, Indy. But then I think my thought process might have been wrong because I was thinking to myself, okay, so Polanco, Urias, Mitch Haniger, they all have a bigger track record, but they didn't do it last year. Luke Raley just did it last year, and I think maybe my mindset and my analysis was a little off. Like, just because you've done it for several years, those 3 guys I mentioned didn't do it last year. So, is it going to come back? Is it not? We don't know. Luke Raley was kicking ass and taking names last season. And then another corner outfielder who came back from injury, Dominic Canzone, a home run and sac fly, 2 gigantic RBI tonight. In only 19 games, he's got a .4 WAR, 831 OPS. We might have found some corner outfielders, and I truly believe that we'll get the best out of Mitch Haniger if he doesn't have to play so damn much like he did early in the season. Do you have any thoughts on my love for these left-handed corner outfielders right now?
Honestly, man, I am encouraged because having Canzone back means that we don't have to see as much of good old Albuquerque's finest DHing as often as he is. Like, he's had some clutch at bats. Yes, he's had some clutch at bats, but the consistency isn't there. And when your one job is to hit the baseball and you're not consistent with it, it's an issue. It's an issue. And we know that Haniger's defense has allowed some runs. It's been a little rough. So to be able to see him focus on just hitting and getting his bat back to what we know it can be, that would be huge. That would be huge. I'm encouraged, man. And Raley is just on fire. Canzone came out swinging. He's ready to be back out there. Yeah, dude. We're one bat away. One bat away. I'm so excited about this team. This outfield has so much potential, and man, Luke Raley is just, I don't even know how to explain it, man. My uncle told me about him last year at some point, talking about how good he was because my family's from Tampa. And dude, I'm just happy. A lot of people talk shit about him. When we first got him. Like, oh, these editions are just like last year's editions, blah, 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 blah. Give him some time, bro. It's a quarter way of the season. We're a quarter way there.
Absolutely.
Quarter away there.
And here's the thing about Luke Raley, too, is being an athletic specimen isn't the end all be all, but you certainly like it. There's not, I mean, the guy is 6'4", 235, and maybe the second fastest dude on the fucking team. Like, that is a freaking athlete. And as much as I love the guys that try hard and get the most out of themselves, blah, 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 that is actually Luke Raley also, who was under the radar and had to go to Lake Erie Community College, of all places. So this guy took a very random route to make it to the major leagues. Self-made guy. He's not one of these guys who has been, highly touted on the tournament circuit since he was a teenager. He had to grind his entire way. He is already like 29 years old, so I really hope we're able to re-sign him. Well, this guy's just putting money in his pocket the way he's playing right now. My wife's family is from Ohio, and so we have that little connection. And so Canzone and Raley are both Ohio born dudes. And so we got a little extra cheer for them. And it's kind of funny because, as we both know, Ohio is known as a football state. You don't actually hear of a ton of baseball prospects coming out of that region. So that's pretty cool. I can't remember if it was Cole Emerson or Cole Young. They came from the Pittsburgh area. And so good scouting, though. Not every great baseball player is going to come from California, Florida, or Arizona. Make sure that your scouts are looking everywhere, because you can find dudes any and everywhere. God, what a fun win, though. We have to keep this momentum going, though, Indy. Let's get to 28 and 22. Let's get, and because I just have that 50 game marker that gives you 112 games left. Just get yourself in the mix. You still got a long ways to go. You can't win the division 50 games in, but you sure as shit can lose it. So that's why my benchmarker is just make sure you're at 500 at that point, and then you can really start to make a push. Because you look at these standings, there's plenty of teams that are already out of it, Indy, and we are going to dive deep into the weeds on this as the season continues. We're not close to the trade deadline yet. We know with the expanded playoffs that more teams are directed by their owners to not sell until they're sure they're out of it, because there's a bigger number of teams that are in the playoff race since they expanded. But there are some guys on the Blue Jays, the Astros, the White Sox. I guess there's only like one good player on that team, and the Cardinals. Some big names, some smaller names. There's like everyone's talking about Luis Robert Jr. He's really had one good season, so I don't know if I'm buying that. Alex Bregman, experience, rental. The creme de la creme will be Kyle Tucker. The creme de la creme is Kyle Tucker, but he will cost you an arm and a leg and the Space Needle. So we'll see what happens on that one. And I firmly believe that Houston would be willing to trade in the division if they can rip you off. So I don't know if we want to go down that road, because I think they're only looking for rip-off trades if they go in the division. But it's going to be really fun down the stretch, Indy, to see what the Mariners do. Is ownership going to pony up the money? I hope they bring in more investors, but you need people to want to buy into the team. It's not a video game where you can just, kind of pump fake money into it. But I'm jacked, man. I'm jacked. How are you feeling about the team right now?
Man, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited, especially after this win tonight. Ah, we're just one bat away. In my personal opinion, we're just one bat away, and we've been saying this year after year after year. But genuinely, we are one bat away from being one of the most deadly and dangerous teams in the league. And I'm not sure how we go about acquiring that, how we go about getting to that point. But man, this team has so much potential. And with how tough our schedule has been past month, really, we've proven that we can compete with any team. We can hang there with any team. And to be at where we're at this point in the season, first place in our division, man, I see a World Series team.
Absolutely. And we know the players in that clubhouse believe they're a World Series team, and they should. I don't know why there's so much negativity. Why set your goals so low? Why, I mean, if you think you have a bunch of good ball players in that clubhouse, why not go for it all? I mean, look at the Arizona Diamondbacks had what, like 84, 85 wins last year, made it to the World Series. Texas only had two more wins than us, and they won the chip. So we know that in baseball, it is there's a better chance of a random team making it in baseball compared to maybe the NBA and the NFL, in my opinion. Just one more shout out for me. Dylan Moore balling out, a 1.4 WAR, 780 OPS, a critical clutch walk in the ninth inning. This dude has 8 doubles, 2 triples, and 4 bombs, and strikeouts to walks only 2 to 1, which is really good in today's era. So guys get hurt in 162 games. The middle of our infield went down at the same time, and guys like Demo Rojas have really picked up the slack. Gotta do it, and we need more from these guys. But damn it, let's go fuck these Yankees up, man. Let's go take that money, bro.
Yes, sir. Let's go get it, man. Oh, I'm excited. I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited to see where we're at the All-Star break. Who's turned it around? Who turns it around after the All-Star break? Man, this team has so much potential. Competing with anybody, just like the Bronx Bombers, who, like you said, they're back. We are competing with any team in the league. Who do we got on the mound tomorrow?
Uh Looks like it's going to be Wu, Miller, and Castillo to finish it. So our two young bucks have got a big test here, but
Hey, I got all types of faith in those guys. I think they're beasts. I think I genuinely believe we have 5 guys that could be at least a number 2 on most teams, which is insane. Um, yeah, dude, it's gonna be great. Dude, watching Miller's fastball, dude, just the way it rises. I've never been able to make a pitch rise. I've tried and I've tried and I tried, bro. It is one of the hardest things, but one of the most beautiful things in all of baseball to me, to see a rising fastball.
oh, it's so difficult.
I just love to see this man Miller pitch. He's probably my favorite Mariner right now. I don't know why, man. There's something about it.
Well, God forbid he doesn't get hurt, man. His trajectory is unbelievable. He's just scratching the surface and he's already an absolute stud. I guess I'll get one more question out of you here. Speaking of about Miller, like we got Miller and Wu. Everyone talks about them as trade chips. I'd rather clear the farm system. The thing is like one Wu, one Miller is equal to probably 3 or 4 of our top prospects. So you're really going to be clearing out the farm system if you go that route. I just am so high on Miller and Wu that I feel it would be worth it. I mean, we got God knows how many shortstops right now in the system. And then I think the maybe, and everyone's so scared because Kyle Raleigh is a Boris client that he's going to leave. But Harry Ford might be the guy to trade because he's closer to the bigs than a bunch of our other top prospects, and he's blocked. And this is where you really think about trades. For the Mariners have done a great job of this, finding guys that were blocked, like a Mitch Haniger or a Ty France in the past, and they have produced for them for a relatively low cost. So that's my hopes. We'll see what happens. I'm just pumped. All I know is I do not want 40,000 freaking New Yorkers singing Frank Sinatra at all this week. Let's keep those boo birds coming down on their hometown team. I don't give a damn about your 27 championships. We ain't never been there, but we're coming for it right now. And that's all that fucking matters, baby.
Yes, sir. We are well on our way. I got the utmost confidence in this team, in our pitching staff. I believe our hitters can turn it around. Some of them already have, aka Luke Raley, Dylan Moore. I don't want to part with anybody that we have. I get attached to our players, but the right price, they'd have to blow us away. They would have to blow us away. Someone would have to blow us away to get us to part with one of those arms, those beautiful, magnificent arms that we have in our rotation, in our bullpen. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to offer what we would want, what the Mariners would deem valuable enough, because the value of those guys' arms is outrageous. So, like I said, we'd have to be blown away.
Blow us away then. That's the only way it'll happen, if someone blows us away. And maybe it's the St. Louis Cardinals. I think Sonny Gray is their only pitcher under contract after this season. So we need to poach on some desperate team. But I'm with you. I don't want to go there, but you know what? You never say never to a trade, because sometimes someone's going to come knocking and you'll be like, well, Godfather style, make me a deal I can't refuse. So,
Well, yeah, if the price is right, anybody's movable, anybody's expendable as long as the price is right, especially in business. And Major League Baseball is business. If the price is right, anybody's going to move on from anybody. I won't sit here and say like obviously moving one of those guys or two of those guys could work wonders for our team in the long run. Who knows? But my personal preference would be to see those guys as Mariners for a long fucking time. A long fucking time. Especially Miller and Wu.
When you talk about the business aspect, the value those guys bring on those MLB minimum contracts, that shit's unreal, dude. I'm not joking. When they're at their best, we have like 6 guys that can make $100 million.
Literally.
And
what's Miller and Wu making? Bryce Miller's probably making like $1 million.
No, they're all at like 760,000. Even Kirby.
Really?
Yeah, because they haven't got
720,
to
720.
pre-arb.
My bad. You're right. Pre-arb.
No, it's all good. But we only have 2 pitchers above rookie minimum pre-arb. So it really is just economic bliss when it comes to the production we're getting out of this pitching staff for what they're getting paid. But that's also why we got to freaking win now.
Yep. It's like Russell Wilson on his rookie contract, man.
Yep.
Like it's that window that the Texans are in right now.
Exactly. And that well, let's dive into that another time. But I think we can both agree, I love what the Texans did this offseason, because your window is now.
Dude, I could go on about them. I'm like, they're my team to beat this year.
And then sometimes it doesn't work as well as you'd like. The Bengals went for it, and they were so close. And it's not like your window closes, but you have a special window if you can get any pro athlete on a rookie contract who's playing like a superstar or even an all-star or even a stud. So it's fun to kind of dive into the economics. But all I know, Indy, is the Seattle frickin' Mariners, 48 games in, we're in first place in the AL West. We're going toe-to-toe with the Bronx Bombers, who are back. This team is back. I called it from the start of the season that they did what they needed to do for the pitching staff. They traded for the outfielder I've desperately coveted for so long. And it's time to get scrappy. If you want to beat the Yankees, you can't just go and throw on haymakers. You got to give a lot of body blows, give them some leg kicks, and then come in with the cheese, baby.
Absolutely, man. I'm stoked to see how the rest of the season plays out and what we're looking like at the All-Star break. Oh, I'm excited to see who turns it around after the All-Star break. All of that, man. There's nothing like an MLB season. It's the roller coaster of 160 whatever games, man. There's nothing like it. Like, football season's its own thrill. Baseball's a thrill of its own.
Oh gosh, yeah. Just my emotions today during those 9 innings of baseball. I was so low and so high. Actually, you were right though. I was basically low for 8 innings, and all of a sudden it's triumph.
Right. All of a sudden that euphoric feeling hit and nothing else mattered. You're out there skipping, hopping, and tossing boxes to the wrong houses.
Well, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. We touch on other sports, but right now we just wanted to dive into the Mariners after such a epic come from behind win. I want to give a huge shout out, like always. This guy's hotter than Nashville's hot chicken, baby. Indy on the ones and twos, our favorite producer. We got RG, who is in the on deck circle. I can't wait for him to get back in the batter's box with me. I cannot do the show without him. We're trying our best to keep the ship from sinking here. And y'all know Tide Talks 24, Mariners, first place, AL West. Get at us, people.